Hi everybody, my name is Tracy Batiste. I am the author of the Jumbies series as well as a bunch of other books for kids. Right up there, over my shoulder, are all the books that I've written. We're going to do a little lesson today in something called Comparative Mythology. It is a very big term for kind of a really simple thing. So, comparative, of course, means you're comparing two things, and mythology, I think you guys probably already know what mythology is the stories of a culture, their myths, their legends, and so on. So if I were to describe a mythological creature to you, you would probably be able to guess what it is. So if I said it was a creature that came out when there was a full moon, and it was sort of part man, part wolf. What kind of creature do you think I would be talking about? You probably think that I am talking about a werewolf, right? Well, it turns out that yes, I am talking about a werewolf, but there is another creature that is like a werewolf that comes from a different mythology, and that is called a lagahu. And a lagahu actually comes from, I'll show you it again, here it is. A lagahu actually comes from Caribbean mythology. It is a type of jumbie, which is one of the creatures that I write about in my books. And a lagahu is very much like a werewolf in a lot of ways. It sort of looks the same. But it also wears these big chains around its neck, and it has medicines that you can use to help you get better if you're sick. Here's another creature. If I were to say that there was a very beautiful woman who was part woman and part snake and could turn people to stone, who do you think I'd be talking about? You probably think that I'm talking about Medusa. And you're right. And so there's Medusa's head right there. And so you're right that I am talking about Medusa, but there is another creature, again, that is very much like Medusa, and she's actually on the cover of my second Jumbies book, Rise of the Jumbies. Here she is. She's called Mama Chlo. So she's very beautiful, but has the tail of an anaconda, and she can turn people to stone. So there we have different creatures from different mythologies that have some similarities in common, and that's kind of fun to think about. How is it possible that different creatures from different stories in such different parts of the world have so many things in common? Maybe it's true that these creatures are real and people in different parts of the world describe them differently. Or maybe it's true that people tell stories and that a lot of these stories started as oral traditions. And when I say oral, I mean that they were told stories. People spoke these stories. And you know how it is when people tell stories, like different people are going to tell the story a little bit differently. And so stories got passed around, and these creatures in different places as they got passed around took on different traits and had different things that they could do and different ways that they behaved and maybe slightly different bodily traits and so on. So that actually is what we're doing, is comparative literature. And if you are interested at all in creatures, you can look at books like this, Book of Greek Myths, which has a lot of stories with creatures in it, or you can use something like this, which is a compendium of magical creatures. I will say that a book like this has some limitations in that it tends to focus on European and Western creatures and does not really focus on things like African stories, Asian stories, Filipino stories, and so on. So it does have some limitations, a book like this. But I have also created this Jumbies field guide, which you can download off my website, which is tracybatiste.com. And it will teach you a whole bunch of things about a whole bunch of different types of jumbies, and you can see how they are like and different from other creatures that you know. But in my series, The Jumbies, which includes Rise of the Jumbies, you'll learn a lot about a bunch of different kinds of creatures. And there are a lot of other people who are writing books from their own mythologies where you can find out about different types of creatures, such as the Kiranmala series by Sayantani Dasgupta. And also, Erin Entrada Kelly has a new book out called Leilani of the Distant Sea, which uses a lot of Filipino creatures that she has sort of remixed in her own way. And so there's a lot of ways that you can find out about different kinds of creatures. And I think it's a lot of fun to try to see how creatures can be alike and how they can be different in different stories around the world. I hope that was fun for you. Bye.